Hey, happy Wednesday, everybody. Today is October 13th, and our topic this morning is individual discouragement and personal growth. Exodus 2:11. When Moses was grown, he went out to his brethren and looked at their burdens. Have you ever felt burdened? Have you ever felt discouraged? Have you ever been going through a hard time and feel like the world's been beating you up? Never? Not even once? I'm joking, right? Everybody has. Everybody's felt discouraged. Everybody's felt beaten down. Everybody's felt like maybe the Lord wasn't hearing their prayers or wondering what's God's plan in all this. So Chambers uses this story here of Moses, right, who is a Hebrew but raised in an Egyptian court. So he's raised in his Egyptian royalty, but he himself is a Hebrew, and he sees the oppression of his people. And I'm going to quote Chambers here. Moses saw the oppression of his people and felt certain that he was the one to deliver them. And the righteous indignation of his own spirit, he started to right their wrongs. And so Chambers points out the problem wasn't that Moses was rightfully indignant toward what he saw. It was an evil, right? This oppression of an Egyptian beating a Hebrew. The problem was he took the solution into his own hands. He tried to solve it with his own wisdom and his own understanding. So he then has to flee to the wilderness for 40 years. And so he obviously saw what was wrong, but rather than waiting on God's timing for things, he took the timing into his own hand and killed this Egyptian oppressor, which didn't result in the freedom from bondage for his people, nor did it result in something good for him. He was sent out into the wilderness, right, into isolation. But in God's sovereignty and God's plan, right, God used that to grow him. And through this individual discouragement that Moses must have felt, God had a personal plan and a personal, we could say, growth, a big personal growth for both Moses and the entire Israel nation, the entire Hebrew people. And Chambers closes his devotion with this, just pointing out of how Moses first had to learn God's plan and God's timing through that 40 years. Then God calls him out, and Moses says, "Who am I? Who am I to go now?" Right? But God says, "I prepared you now. Now it's my way, my timing." And so Chambers says, if you are going through a time of discouragement, there is a time of great personal growth ahead. So let us think of that, right? I mean, hopefully it's not 40 years of wandering through the wilderness we have to go through to realize God's plan for our life. But if we are discouraged, let us take heart in the fact that many of these biblical characters we so often look up to were in places of personal discouragement, of individual discouragement, of going through discouragement well beyond anything we can imagine or dream of. And so use that discouragement perhaps to really hone you into God, right, to his word, to really listen to what his plan is, of what he's trying to show you through these times of discouragement. What character is he trying to develop in you? And if we can answer that at the end of whatever phase of discouragement we're in, we're going to come out a lot better. God bless. We'll see you tomorrow.